Thank you all. And we are going to start now. And thanks for being here on a Saturday. We are going to learn from now onwards. We are going to learn some big topics like we are going to learn everything on HTML. We are going to learn everything on CSS today. And next Saturday, we will see what you learn. We are going to learn, see what you're going to learn on next Saturday. But today, we are going to learn for HTML, CSS, and HTML and CSS only. Okay. So let me see. Hello, all. If I'm live, yeah, I'm live. Okay, I'm live. Wait a sec. Wait a sec. Okay. So yeah, so I'm live. So yeah, so let's get started. As I've told, let's get started. And let me share my screen. And we are going to only learn HTML and CSS today, and we are going to learn it completely from now onwards. On every Saturday, we're going to learn some complete topic. Okay, so that is there so that you don't have to go anywhere else. So let me tell a bit about myself. Let me tell a bit about what you should do from the channel, and how you will get the certificate, because a lot of people were asking me how they will get the certificate also. Okay, so let me see if someone else is also asking. Okay, so yeah, so yeah, so this is about me. My name is Navindu Vishwas. I'm a full-time corporate trainer. I'm a React.js teacher. I'm a Next.js and React.js expert. What are this Next.js and React.js? I will tell about them. Freelance developing also, I do. So that is about me, but I was not always like that. Right now, I have more than 18 years of IT experience. And around 16 years, I was working full-time in metros. Like I worked in Mumbai, Bangalore, and all the things. Like my last full-time job in corporate was as an associate architect in a product-based company in Bangalore. So that was me. I have worked in IBM also. I have worked in Oracle also. I have worked in JP Morgan also. Those who know, these are some of the biggest company on the planet. So that's about it. I started my career in 2004 from Bangalore itself. Like stayed more than 16 years in metros. Right now I'm located in my hometown of Bhopal, and from here only I take like uh, trainings, online training, corporate trainings. Sometimes I'm go outside again to Bangalore and Hyderabad, because I take some corporate trainings there also. And besides this, we do web and mobile development also. Me and my team, we do that thing. We have completed more than 10 projects in the past 2 years, since like I am doing this for 1 year and 10 months. Thanks LinkedIn for telling me that I am doing it for 1 year and 10 months, doing this, running my company. Okay, so we are like right now two people company, like another two people are there, another two teachers and developers are there. So you'll see one more teacher today. Okay, so this is about me. And this is about our company TWD. It is fully registered company, and you'll get a nice certificate from the company. So that is there. Now the thing is that how you will get the certificate. So a lot of you were asking me how we will get the certificate. So we are going to give this attendance. Okay, so we are going to give this attendance. So attendance one, I'm going to give around like another like around 320 or 320 or something. Like I will give 320 or 330. I will give the attendance one, and the attendance two will be given towards the end. Okay, towards the end, which is around 6:30. After me, Mosam, our CSS expert, our CSS teacher on the channel, he will take the CSS part. Okay. So today we don't have any JavaScript or something. We are going to do everything in CSS. So CSS, we're going to cover everything, basics, Flexbox, Grid, everything we are going to cover. Okay. So that is there. So in this attendance form, what you have to fill? In this attendance form, you have to first fill email ID. The email ID on which you want the certificate to come, because when we are going to give this attendance form in the live chat, you will get this thing. Okay, so you click it and open it, enter your email ID on which you want the certificate to be sent, then the name by which you want the certificate, the name should be perfect. And then we are doing so much, so we also want you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. The link for subscription is here, or you're watching it on the YouTube, there will be a big subscribe button there. Click on the subscribe button and you'll subscribe. And then we want you to also follow us on Instagram, because in Instagram also we do some very good stuff related to development we do. Okay, so you learn something new every day through my chat, through my knowledge and all those things. So your current role, fill it, and your LinkedIn profile. If you have a LinkedIn profile, it's very good. If you don't have, you don't have a LinkedIn profile. So that is there. And we are going to give a similar attendance form again. So it is necessary to fill both of the attendance form. Second attendance form will be given at around 6:30 p.m. Okay. So this attendance forms we are going to give like this, and this like this we are going to give this attendance forms. Okay. So that is there. One sec. And so now, even before moving, so this is about attendance and all. Okay, so a lot of you were asking some other things. So even before moving, so what do we teach here? We teach here web development. Why do we teach here web development? Why don't we teach here something like AI or something else? And why is this web development which is so much required? Because web development is the thing which can easily get you a job. So you need to learn HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and React. These are the four things which can easily give you a job, especially this fourth thing, which is known as React.js. So I am a React.js and Next.js expert, and this is the thing which is like Next.js is similar to React.js only. So these are the things which can give you a job, especially the React.js part, because React.js is the thing in which all the modern web apps are created. Whatever you're seeing right now, most of the things are the front end is created in React.js. React.js is a JavaScript library, and you need to know HTML, CSS, and JavaScript to know React.js. Without that, it is not possible, and it is the most popular JavaScript library. Almost everything is created in this. So this complicated kind of thing in which I'm doing this thing, and this thing, this is also created in React.js. Okay, so drag and drop is not that much easy to do. Like 10 years back, nobody could have done this thing in a website. Okay, so this thing and the complicated site, social media site like LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Netflix, Uber, not Uber. Uber is mainly mobile. So what else? Everything out there like Disney Hotstar, like Geo nowadays. Geo is very popular. Geo Cinema. All these things. The front end is mainly made in React.js. So the front end is mainly made in React.js. So there are a lot of jobs in React.js. In fact, the most number of jobs are there in React.js. Every small startups, medium startups, everybody works in React.js. Having this thing in your resume will get you a job for sure. Okay, that is there. But you have to do a lot of projects also. So these are the four things which you need to learn. You do your own research. No Python, no PHP, nothing else can like match React.js, because all the web apps are mainly made in React.js except Google projects like this Google Forms and all these things. They are mainly made in another very popular uh, JavaScript library, a JavaScript framework known as Angular. We teach Angular also, but then also we tell most people to learn React.js. React.js is easy to learn, and React.js have more number of jobs also in comparison to Angular. Okay, because it is easy. So most startups works on React.js. Only Google. I don't see any big company except Google working on this Angular JS. Okay, so that is there. There are companies. Okay, so not many. Okay, so now that is okay, you have to learn these four things. But how do you learn these four things? So that is what I want to say. How do we learn these four things? So to learn these four things, you have to even if you learn these four things, then what to do? If I'm not from an IT background, if I'm not from an IT background, then what to do? So if you're not from an IT background, even if you're from an IT background, you have to do something known as networking. You do something known as networking, and networking like on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook groups. You have to do networking. You have to meet people like me and all. So and follow us, and also like LinkedIn is not just a site like a Naukri.com. Okay, you have to connect with a lot of people. You have to tell the projects which you have done. Then only there are HRs and all which are there, which can see what you have done. Okay, so that is there. And now there are some daily actions. What I will come back to LinkedIn again. There's some daily actions like you have to code 2 hours daily. So if you're not from an IT background, you have to code 2 hours daily. No other way is out there. Even I also code 2 hours daily after becoming a teacher. Okay, so I'm a full-time trainer. Okay, but I also code because we do coding also. Okay, even without that. Okay, so then you have to do some challenges. This challenge, if you want to get into IT, check out what are these challenges, especially this 100 days of code challenge. What is this thing? Okay, so that is there. So this is about all the things. As I've told, we are going to start now with testing, because this session is not just talk. This session is learn. So we're going to start learning with HTML. Enough of talk we have done. You can go to this talk again, and we're going to learn now. So I'm going to stop all these things and let me tell me one more thing. So the best place to networking in India is LinkedIn. So LinkedIn, not only because I am an influencer in LinkedIn, I have like this many connections in LinkedIn. Not because of that. I have this many connections because I've got them after a lot of hard work. I do a lot of work on LinkedIn. Because of that, only I have that much connection. But if you're new on LinkedIn, you at least update your profile in a nice way. You start putting the projects which you have done on LinkedIn. Okay. Start putting those things. Okay. So that is there. And yeah, we are going to let me do one thing. Let me also give the attendance, like the first attendance I'll give. So this is attendance one I have given in the chat. Please fill that from the chat. I am also like showing it here. So I've given the first attendance on the chat. Please fill that on the chat. And we are going to start with HTML now. Okay. So we're going to start with HTML now. So what is HTML? HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. It is used to give all this tags and all which we create through HTML. So even if for HTML, where should I like HTML is there, but where should I code HTML? Okay, where should I code HTML? So you should code HTML in not in some Notepad plus plus or something. Most of you might be using Windows, but not in Notepad plus plus. You should have some code editor. And one more thing which I want to tell, having a laptop or a computer is mandatory. It is it is very difficult to code in mobile. So please get a laptop. Even if a cheap laptop, like a 10,000 laptop, you want to get, you get it. So this Visual Studio Code is something which is required. Is Visual Studio Code is a lightweight coding editor which can run on like very low great laptops also, which don't have a lot of high features. It can run on that also. Okay, so this VS Code can run on that also. So download this thing and install it and all. And it is very easy to install. Yeah, I'm getting for Mac. You might get it for Windows. It is very easy to install. Okay, so once you install, then you will get it something like this. Okay, you'll get like this. You'll get it. So keep it here. Okay, so it will open like this. Now, what we need to do. So it is open, it is okay, but I want to code. So how do I code? So best way to code, which I will tell you, is to in the desktop. So in a Windows or it doesn't matter. So in the desktop, you right click and create a new folder called anything. Like I will call it an HTML. And then what you do, take this folder and drag it over here. So this is the most easy way to open a project in VS Code. Okay, some people will get confused also here. So I will drop it like this. Okay, so then this HTML will be shown. Now, this HTML is shown. This is okay. Now, this is just a folder which I have opened here. Now, what I need to do? Now, I need to create the project. So, project, I need to create a file. So, what file I will create? I will create a file known as index.html. Index.html. Why index.html? Why not something else? .html is the extension for a HTML file, which is the full form is hypertext markup language, which is how you create websites. So HTML is a full form, like a doc file have a docx extension, or a JPG file have JPG extension, PNG file have PNG extension. All programming files have a programming extension. So HTML has an HTML extension. So this is there. Now this index.html I have done. So we are using VS Code and not something like Notepad++ for another reason also. Okay. And to get some more space, what I can do, I can click here and it will close the Explorer. Okay, so like this, I can close it. Now we are using VS Code, as I've told, we are using VS Code for a reason. So VS Code comes inbuilt with a lot of things. There are a lot of shortcuts which are inbuilt. Like I'll do a knot, and then I'll press the tab, and it will create the whole of the structure, whole of the bare bone structure of HTML, and then we can start coding directly. Okay, so there is something like this. doc type HTML is written, and then all these things. What are this? All these things I will tell, and then you can save also this file with Control S. Control S is to save the file. Okay, so this first thing you will see this there is some this doc type HTML. Doc type HTML is there. So what is this doc type HTML? This doc type HTML means this is HTML version 5. Okay. So and all the HTML tags like greater than, less than things will be there. So this doc type HTML, the not of doc type HTML, it means it is a HTML version 5. This doc type HTML. Okay, it's HTML version 5. And then there is this HTML. HTML version 5 means HTML is actually released in the year 1993. So in 2015, version 5 was released. There is a governing committee in the US which governs the HTML. Okay, known as W3C. Okay, World Wide Web Confederation or something like that. Confederation or something like that. So okay, so Dr. HTML. Then I have an HTML which is starting and ending. Okay, HTML tag which is starting and ending. Okay, like this, it is starting and ending. Most of the HTML tags starts and end. Okay, so this starts and end, and inside this there are two major parts. One is the head and on the body. Body is much more important because body is the thing. All this code, all these things which you're seeing will be created in the body. But this head tag is also important because this thing like this title which you see, this is this title. I will write like HTML here. We're going to soon see where we are going to get this. And what is this meta tag? Meta tag is something which is to be done with the digital marketing, which is the second best like career right now. Digital marketing after like development, it is the second best career. If you are interested in digital marketing, you can go, because but I don't know that much digital marketing. So why it is what is related to digital marketing? Because it is used to give the SEO of a site. SEO means search engine optimization, because in this meta tag you can give the keywords for a site, and the keywords for a site are the one which the Google uses to check a site, because Google uses those things only. When you enter something in Google, how does Google knows that okay, this site is about this thing, this site is about this thing? If I go to Google and write free code editor, so if I search this free code editor, see this site has come on the first page of Google. Means the SEO of this site is very good. To come on the first page of Google is a like a very big thing in marketing. It's like the top marketers can only do this thing. So Microsoft is the top company on the world, so they have brought themselves on the first page of Google with this very popular thing known as free code editor. So it means that this thing, like this is the same site. This thing will be there in their site somehow, somewhere. Okay, so that's why they are in the first page of Google. So that is our meta tag. As I told, like you have to use some very good keyword. I don't know more about it because we are learning how to be a developer, not a marketer. Okay, so that is the title is there. Now the next thing is that let me have something in the body, then we'll go ahead. So yeah, so body HTML is all about learning about different tags. So I'll have an H1 and I will write HTML basics. Okay, so H1, it is known as a heading tag. So what heading tags I've written, and I will do a control and backslash. This thing which is shown in a green thing, this is known as comments. It should not show in a final result. What is the final result? We'll see soon. So H1, I have given HTML basics like this. There's some headings tag like H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, and H6. H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, and H6. So these are different heading tags. Heading tags are what? So like this one might be an H1, this one might be an H3. So there are different sizes. Heading tags are different sizes. I'll save it. But now where to see this thing? So where to see this thing? So we need to see this thing like in the HTML which I have created, the index.html. I'll right click and I'll double click. It will open in my default browser, which I don't want to open, which is by default. It is like Safari, which I don't like. So I'll right click and open with Firefox Developer Edition, which I'm using right now. I'll do this Firefox Developer Edition and it will open like this. And this is the thing which I wanted to show. So it is showing like this, see this HTML which I've written here. it has been written here, and HTML basics, it is written in a different size, H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6. These are the different heading tags, and we are not seeing the comment. This comment is only for the developer to see, not for the end user. This is the developer, this is the end user. Okay, so that is how. So the end user or a normal user will not see this heading tag. So this is the heading tag. Okay, so let us learn about the next tag, which is known as a para. HTML is all about learning about different tags. Okay, so para graph tag, and as we have told, uh we are going to teach everything in detail, HTML in detail, CSS in detail, like this. Okay, so paragraph tag. So paragraph tag, I'll do a p, and in this p I'll come and let me put something like okay, so like this I'll put and save it. This code and is this, and that is there, something I'll put from the here, and I'll save it. I'll close it. But where is it? I'm not seeing this thing. Okay, where is it? So you can see this thing. If you saved it, you will not be able to see it unless you come here and refresh this browser. Okay, then you can see this thing. Okay, but if I don't want this thing to do, like a lot of you might be coming from a Java background, Java have a lot of like ID is also different in Java, and there is a lot of things are there, like you have to edit it. There is a, but in web development world, we do not like this thing like that. I have to go here and refresh this every time. Okay, so what do we do? There is a solution to this thing. If you're okay with this, every time you change the code, save it, and then reload it, then you should not follow the next step. But if you don't like this thing, so what you can do, there is a tab here. So this is one tab, which is Explorer tab. There is another tab here known as the extension tab. So what is the extension tab? Extension is something like VS Code is the most popular lightweight ID. I'm telling lightweight ID because it's a lightweight. It cannot be used in very complicated things like Java and all those things. For them, different IDs like Eclipse and all comes. Okay, it can be used in all lightweight programming languages like HTML, Python, and all those things. Okay, so okay, so that is there. So now what is here, like what is this extensions? These extensions are something like extensions are small programs which add some functionality in VS Code. So one of the extension is known as, and they're created, they're open source, not open source, they're created by developers like this only, like they're like free apps on an Android store. Okay, so live server, I'll write here live. There is a program known as live server. Actually, this is a very popular program, very popular thing, like more than like 3 crore downloads are there. So what it does, you come here and you install it. No, nothing very difficult thing will be there. Just install it and it will get installed. Nothing much. At most it will ask the VS Code to be restarted. Okay, so you install it. Then what you are going to do? You are going to come back here, and then you right click and open with live server. Either you do this thing or you go here and go live. There will something be open like this. So I'll go here and right click and open with live server. Unfortunately, it will open in my Safari, but it opened. There was something like this. All right, it opened. Yeah, like this. It will open, and you can. Okay, so okay, okay. So that is there. So it has opened like this 127, like this. It is open. Now, what is the benefit of this? Okay, so now I will have paragraph, another paragraph, and again, like I want something in the paragraph. So but what I should put, I don't have anything to put. Okay, so this I copied it from somewhere. We should not copy like this. So there is a text in internet known as lorem ipsum. So I'll write lorem, lorem, and then I will press the tab. Lorem ipsum text is a dummy text which is there from the start of the, like, printing press was there from that time, because generally it is not a good idea to do like this if I want some dummy text. Okay, because it doesn't seems right. So this lorem ipsum is a very old kind of text in which by default VS Code comes inbuilt with lorem ipsum generator. You write LOREM and then press the tag. It will generate the text for you. It's a dummy text, but it's look like real text. Now see the benefit here. So if I save it, the moment I saved it, there is an auto reload which happened. I'm telling the benefit of this live server. Auto reload happened and it updated it. But if I go back and if I see it, if I go back and if I check it out, and in the normal one, it is still there. It's still not updated. Here again, I have to refresh it. So I have to have manually refresh, which is not a good thing. So I'll not use this thing. I'll use this live server thing. And this some site kind of this thing is it's been told it is known as a localhost. No need to learn much about it, but it is opened on a port on your computer. Okay, so like this, it is there. So then the next thing which we'll do is learning about the different tags. Because HTML is all about learning about different tags. So the next tag which we are going to learn is the link tag. Link tag. Okay, link tag. So heading tag and paragraph tag, there is a thing which I want to tell. There are two kind of tags in HTML. One is known as block level elements, and one is known as inline element. So the block level elements, the thing is that this it takes the whole line. See, there was a lot of space after this thing. So the HTML basics, all of this H2, H3, H4, H5, H6 could have come in the same line. Again, this thing, this lorem could have come out, started from here, but it is taking it to one own line and giving some space here, giving some space here. So that is what is the known as like block level element. There's another kind of tag which is known as inline element. We'll learn about that because some of the tags are like inline. Like the link tag is an inline tag. Link tag is also known as anchor tag. Very, very popular tag. It is used like let me take it a bit on the top. And here I'll do a and I'll have two links tag like this. And in this href, you can give a site like any site name you can give. So I will give one of my sites name like pwd.codes and pwd, and I'll give another site. This is one of my another site. So for both of the sites I have given, and then here in the second one, I will give one more thing which I'm going to tell later on. Target equal to underscore blank. So I'll give this thing. Okay. So these two things I have done. Okay. So now see this anchor tag. First, let us see what is the anchor tag. Anchor tag, both of them are coming one after the another. In fact, if I have more anchor tag like this, they'll all come after one another, one after the other. It means anchor tags are inline elements. They come in the same line, inline, same line. Okay, so that is there. Now, anchor tag takes this attributes in which we give the href. Okay, so and then this is written, and this is again another attribute which we can take in the anchor tag. So first is this pwd. I will click here. And anchor tag is very popular, and this will open my main site. Like it is like what we do and what are the schedule and all these things. But we do paid courses also. So all of these things it will have. So okay, so all of these things it will have. Like this is there. Now but notice one thing. It opened it in the same tab. Now in the dreams I will click, and this is one of another site for a physical batches. So this opened in a different tab. You can see closely. If I click it here, it opened in a different tab, and this has been done because we have taken something known as target equal to underscore blank. It's a hard coded thing. Target equal to underscore blank. It will open it in the different tab. Okay, so that is there, and this if you don't give it, it will open in the same tab. So always try to give target underscore blank because it is always beneficial to open it in a new tab. You might have seen in a YouTube if some comment is there or something, it doesn't open that comment like that. I have pasted one comment, If I go to that comment and if I click there, okay, so it will open in okay, so let me also show this thing. Okay, so maybe this thing. I'll go to my YouTube, and so this thing I'll go, and also it is a very good thing, like all of you have to fill the attendance form from this chat. Okay, so if you're watching it from a desktop, then you have to fill this attendance form from this chat. So the chat, the attendance form will be there. Okay, so you have to fill it from here and see. If I click, so this is also a link, this which a YouTube engineer might have clicked. So if I click here, and it's the anchor tag. Okay, if I click here, see, it is not opening it in the same tab. It is opening in the new tab. What's the benefit of it? The benefit of it is that if it will open in the same thing, like my YouTube will be gone away. I will be taken to this thing, and this thing is not also good for things like YouTube and all. Like they lose money if people goes away from the site. So always like user target equal to underscore blank. So that is there. Now the next thing is that we are going to learn what. So we are going to learn the list tag. Okay, so we're going to learn the list tag, and the list tag we're going to learn is unordered list. List tags are two types. One is the unordered list and one is the ordered list. So unordered list, UL means unordered list, and inside the unordered list we have something known as a list item. Li means the list item we have, and then here I'll do a item one. The other thing will be OL, and OL also I will have this thing. So unordered lists like creates this dot. Unordered list create this dots. Ordered list creates like this 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So we can have more also, like 5 can have, and it will increase the numbers. So this is the ordered unordered list, and this is the ordered list. Okay, so that is there. Now the next thing which we are going to learn is table tag. Table tag we are going to learn table. Actually, the table tags, a lot of tags are there. Not only one tag, there are a lot of tags here in the table tag. So table tag, what happens? I will have a table wrap everything. There will be a table which will wrap everything, and then I will here it has got two things. One is a T head, and one is the T body. T head and T body. And in this T head, we have a table row. Okay, table row, and in the table row, I'll have a TH table head, and uh, table header, and in which I will have a name, age, and email. So like this thing. So see this thing, name, age, and email are coming one after the another. So table always have a row like header, and then we have a inside this T body, we will have again have a T row, and again inside instead of TH we'll have something known as TB, table data. So here we'll give the data into like this we'll have, and this like this we have, and I can save it. So this is how the table is done. Although the table is there, but it will look very bad, like everything is looking very bad, because to beautify this thing, CSS is there. HTML will only give the structure, and in today's world, like no website is complete without CSS. In fact, CSS came a bit late after HTML in the starting of the internet. So most of the site in the starting have very less CSS. Okay, so that is there. So early version of Yahoo, Google, and all those things are very ugly. So the next thing, which, okay, one more thing I'll do, for this attendance. So please fill the attendance form. If you have not filled it, please fill it. I'll take it away. So please fill the attendance form. I will have some space. So let me also see that whether you people have filled the attendance form or not. And because we get the data. The moment you fill the attendance form, we'll get the data. I see 9 people have filled the attendance form. So if you have not filled the attendance form, please fill the attendance form. I've removed it, but it is still there in the chat. It's still there in the chat. It is there. Okay. So now, before moving forward, what we are going to do, we are going to learn about forms. But before forms, we've come a bit down. I want to tell you 2 more tags. So one is known as HR, known as horizontal rule. And see, some of the tags doesn't have an ending. Horizontal rule creates a line like this. And another thing I'll do is known as a BR. BR means break row. Break row have a space like this. Okay, it creates a space. So I will again have this BR and HR, because we will have to. We have gone a bit down, and we are going to create the form tags inside it. So form tag. Okay, form tag. Okay. So what is the form tag? Form tags are the way to take the input from the user in any web apps like Amazon, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and all those things. You you not only browse, you sometimes enter also something. At least when you are registering on Facebook first time, you have entered your all the details, and then you go inside and do the post, and all those things are there. So you're always, whenever the data is taken from a user, it is taken from inside a form, inside a form tag, and there are different fields in the form which we are going to learn. All the important fields we are going to learn, through which we take the data from the user. So I will come here to the form, and here I'll do a form like this. And then inside the form, just like a table have everything inside the table, form have everything inside the form. And then I'll go here, do a label. Okay, so in form tag, what happens, the one of the major thing is known as the input box. And there is other things also, but input box or not input box, everything is there. It comes with a label is like a pair. We are going to see more about this now. So label name, and then we have this input type text, name equal to name, and id equal to name. Okay, id equal to name, and save it. Now see, it is coming like this. Okay, let us quickly have another thing also. Is like for age input type, I will make it as number, age, age. Okay, and age is there. So like this, age is there, age will come like this. Okay, so one more thing again, label and input always comes in the same line. So everything is inline here, everything is an inline tag. That's why they are coming in the same line. Now again, I will tell again about label. Label is something, label and input always comes in a pair. This is one pair and this is one pair. But how do I know that they, okay, I'm saying they're a pair, but how do the computer know, how do this HTML know that they are a pair? Because it doesn't listen to me. Okay, so for them, for the computer to understand that they are a pair, so there is a for is there, and there is a id is there. This should contain the same string. It is name, here also it is name, so it should contain the same string. Here it is age, it is age. That's how they are pair. Now input type text, what is this input type text? Input type text creates a text field in which you can write any text. And what is this input type number? Input type number is the text field in which you write number. Okay, you write number, which you can also increase like this, which you can also increase like this. Okay, like this you can increase. Okay, so that is there, but everything is coming in the same line. everything is coming in the same line. I'm not liking everything coming in the same line. I want at least this age to come in the different line. So how to do that? We know the break row. Break row means break the row. Literally means break the row. I'll do this thing. So it will come in the separate line. Again, I'll do another break row. It will come in the different line. Okay. So this is like this name and age will be there. Okay. So that is there. And now, so as I've told, inside the form tag is a very important tag. Okay, so we are going to learn about different tags here. Not only this much, we are going to learn about a lot of different things. So the next thing which we are going to learn is a text area and a drop down. Both of them are very important. Again, I will take a label for SSAGE, SSAGE, and text area. Again, this name and IDs are coming. This calls and rows, you can actually omit them. Calls and rows you can omit. So this text area is like this. And see one more thing there in text area. Text area is it's not self-ending. Like input box is self-ending. Okay, and text area is not self-ending. Most of the tags, in fact, are not self-ending. Like label is also having an ending, but input is not. Input is self-ending. HR and BR are self-ending. Okay, so some of the tags are like self-ending, but text area should have a thing like this. Okay, this is text area. If I save it, see, this is a very popular tag. This text area, why it is popular? You go to any sites, Facebook, especially the social media sites like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. There is something in which we create the post. So that post is taken in the text area. Why? Because input type text can only be a single line, but a text area, this is good. This can be of multiple lines. So that is styling and all. Don't worry about that. That will be taught later on. But it can be of multiple line. Okay, so that is how it is done, and a text area is being used. Okay, so that is there. Now again, we have a we'll learn about the drop down. We'll learn about the drop down. So I'll come here and do like color, color, and select name is color, ID is color, and here I'll have a option, and value is like red color, green, green color, yellow, yellow color. Okay, so like this, I'll save it. So this drop down is been created, and the colors are being shown. Okay, so okay, so what is this like? What is this? Like in a select, we have this thing name and ID. Again, this for an ID will be same and color will be this. But in the option is something which will be shown here. Okay, option is something which is shown here. So in option, whatever we take, so that will be shown here. But this value is something which will be sent to the backend. Okay, so all this data. So I think I didn't told all this data is taken from you and sent to the backend. Say the very popular example of Facebook. When you register in Facebook, you enter all the data, then you press the submit button, and then all the data will be taken and stored in the Facebook database. Okay, so like this, the data is generated, taken and sent to the backend, and how it is sent to the backend and all those things. Those things are also something which we teach on our channel. Okay, so this is send and all those things are there, and then this is done. Uh, but the value will go like this. I'm going to show that thing also. Like this, it will go like color equal to red, color equal to yellow in this case. So like this, it will go. Okay. So now the next thing which we are going to learn is is the checkbox. Okay, is the checkbox. is the checkbox and the radio box. Again, this checkbox and the radio box are very important because they are used almost everywhere. Especially in Amazon, we use checkbox a lot. We use drop down a lot. So here I'll go and do a BR again and BR because I want it in the different line BR again, and then I'll do a H4 and I'll write what do you own like this, and then I'll come here and do input type of, and name is equal to vehicle 1, value equal to bike, ID equal to bike, and label is for, and it is bike. Okay, so bike. Okay, and one more thing, we can have the label later on also. It is not always like the input should be first. Label can be later on also, and I will have another thing like here. I'll go and do a checkbox, and this is a vehicle 2, and this is a car, this is a car, this is a car, and this is a car. Okay, I'll save it, and like it will come. Okay, like this, it will come. And again, this value is something which will go to the backend, and name vehicle on. But in checkboxes, both of the checkboxes are different. Here you can see the name is vehicle 1 and vehicle 2. So if I select here, I can select both of those things. So both of these things will be done. And you, all of you might be using Amazon, so you know how checkboxes work. When you select like one thing, like in Amazon we have all those things. In Amazon we have a drop down, we have a drop down like this, we have a drop down here. We can like choose anything like this, and you can search it. So this is the drop down is there. Then we have this thing also, like this check boxes are there, in which you can choose. If I choose right now, it will show everything. But if I choose boat, it will show the boat one. If I show choose JBL also, it will show the JBL also. So that is like this, it works like that. Okay, so that is there, and this is the check boxes. Now the next thing which we are going to learn is the radio box. Again, this is a very important thing, the radio box. Again, I'll do a BR and a BR and like a radio box we are going to do. And here I will go and do a H4 and a and the agenda, and then input type radio, and name equal to gender, and value equal to male, and ID equal to male, and label is like for is male, and this is male. This is female, 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 and female. This is other, 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 and like this, it will be there. So radio boxes, what happens in radio boxes are very famous in taking only one input. In Facebook, when you are registering, you might have filled something like this. Okay, so here I will choose the gender as male. So if I choose the male, male will be there. If I choose female, the male will go away. Choose the other, that will go away. And again, here one more thing I want to say, the name is always same. The gender here, the name is different. Vehicle 1 and vehicle 2 for chat box, it is always same in the radio. Okay, so now one more thing which we are going to do is the, like, we're going to do some more types, because there were some more types which were added. Okay, some more types. One sec. Yeah. So there is okay. So there is one more type which is like very important, which is I want to tell, like, which is the input type date. Okay. So I'll do a BR and a BR. and label is for is maybe I will take it for birthday birthday because in Facebook and all you have to enter your birthday. Okay, so then there is a input type date, input type date ID equal to birthday and name equal to birthday. Okay, so like this and there. And what it will do, it will create this thing, this calendar kind of thing it will create, which is like very popular. You can give your birthday. Yeah, okay. So like this you can do, and it's not showing correctly. Actually, okay. So this is like this. You can okay. So that is there. Now everything we have done. But how to submit this form? How to submit this form? So to submit this form, we need a button, and we can have a button outside a form also. Like I will also tell like this button tag like this. I'll do, and we can have a button tag is done by just a button, and I will run a send. Okay, like this, a button will done. But this button, the thing is that if I click, nothing will happen. You see, nothing will happen. All the functionality needed to be added by JavaScript, and JavaScript will have like a full class soon on a Saturday. We'll have a full class. Okay, so this form is there, and then I will have a button of send again, but inside the form, a button have a type equal to submit, type equal to submit, type equal to submit. Okay, so I should have some BRs also here because everything is in line, which I forgot. Okay, so like this send will be there, but this send is like I will have like okay, yeah, this send will be like a important kind of a send. Okay, so I'm not going to tell again because I don't have time. So you see like this send, I will click, nothing happens, but this send which is of type submit, if I click here, what it will take all the data and submit it. Okay, take all the data and submit it. How it will submit it, you're going to see, like you're going to see two things. You're going to see one you see here, and once you see like it is like reload. Okay, so you see here, so if I click, you see two things happening. Send it, something like got sent here, and the browser got reload automatically. When the browser got reload automatically, all of my data got cleared and got set to the original thing. Okay, so if I see here what something got sent, if I cut it, I have cut it, and I will paste it here to see what got sent. Actually, this is how the data gets sent to the backend. Okay, so now name equal to Nabendu is been sent. Why name is written? Because this is name equal to Nabendu. Then second thing will be age. Let me see. Second thing will be age. Yes. Third thing is message. So whatever I give in the name, it goes like this. Third thing is this message. Fourth thing is this color. Fourth thing is this color. Fifth thing is like in checkboxes, there will be two things which will go on. Vehicle 1 and vehicle 2 will go separately. Okay. So that is and in okay, in drop down also one thing is the color equal to yellow has gone. Color equal to yellow. So this thing, color equal to yellow has gone. Color took from here yellow, not yellow color. Then the vehicle 1 and vehicle 2 are different. Like and then the gender is male. Gender has gone like this, male, and birthday has gone. Okay. Gender also like only one gender has been gone. So whatever is the value, it has gone like that. And the birthday has gone, whatever I had chosen. Okay. So that is this is how it goes. I will comment it out anyways, or it will show. So that is there. Okay. So now the next thing which we are going to learn is okay. So the last thing which we are going to learn is the images, because images is something which is very important. Without images, there is nothing. So images, from where we should take the image. First thing is that where we should take the image. Okay. So image tag. I will have image tag, and then I'll have the ing src. Okay, and I'll show two ways to show image. Okay, so one way is to come here and right click and create a new folder, and it's not always like you should have to create a new folder, but then it's okay. So I'll do a images, and then I will go here and I have to find an image. And the best place to find a free image is like unsplash.com, in which you get royalty free image. Royalty free images are very important because in YouTube you don't get not YouTube, on Google you don't get royalty free images. Okay, so sometimes it's bad for us creators. Okay, so I will take maybe this and this one. So I will first take this image and I will download it. I will download the medium one. Okay, and download the medium one, and then I will go here, and this is like this. And I will do one thing. I'll take it here in the images, and I don't like the name. It's quite big. I will rename it to unsplash.jpg. So like this, you can drag and put it here unsplash.jpg. Now, how do I use it? So to use it, you have to give the path where the image has been stored. Okay, so it is like images is stored here. Then I will go and do a unsplash.jpg, and in this alt, I will take it as like you should give for something. It is like I think it's a mountain, so I'll give it as a mountain. And the second is this like another way to use the image is like take this image and right click and copy image link, and I will put it in the source. Okay, it's quite a big. So okay, it's quite a big. What can you do? And then it is like design. I think it is design. Okay, it is design. I will take both of them, and if I go back here, to see both of the images has come. Okay, so both of the images has come. Second image is okay, but the first image is like a bit big, so I have to like do this thing, which is not a good thing. So how to fix it? So in images, you can give in CSS you can do a lot, but in like here you cannot give lot of things. Like I can give like the width and height, but I need only the width to be given as maybe I will give it as 600, and the width will be reduced to 600. Okay, like this, the width is reduced. And the second one is shown like this. Okay, that is okay. But one more thing here is that, okay, so now I, why have given this alt tag? So alt tag is nowhere shown. Why have given this alt tag? Alt tag has been shown if somehow the image, I'm not been able to load the image, then the alt tag has been shown like this. Okay, so, okay, so here if I go and I'll do this Z like this maybe. So why the image has not been shown? There are two reasons. Either the developer have given something wrong. Either the developer have given something wrong, or sometime what happens is go to a place where there is no internet. So suddenly that image has not been shown. So that is the another reason. I cannot close my internet. So but I can do the second thing. Like maybe I can give the wrong thing. Okay, yeah. So I'll save it. Now see this. Design has been shown here. Okay. So but there is a issue here, and that issue is like not issue with this, but the okay. So so the issue is that most of you are not might not be using Firefox. Most of you might be using the Chrome. So all the browsers actually behaves in a different way. I'll show that thing. Okay. So I will open this same thing in Chrome because as I told, most of you will be using a Chrome. Okay. So let me show this thing. Okay. So let me take it like this and take it like this. And here you see this in your Chrome. There is a broken image is also been shown. And this is a very popular thing because all of you might have faced this thing one time or the another, that this has been shown. So whenever a image is not able to show, we are not able to show an image, we see like this. Okay, this broken image has been shown. Okay, so that is there. Now the other thing which is there is like there is a lot of differences in browsers. Like this in this like this Chrome, as I said, most of you are using Chrome. Calendar, if you see, I click the calendar here, I click the calendar here. Both of them are totally different. Both of them are totally different. The way I navigate it also is, it is a bit different here. Okay, it's a bit different here. So all browsers are like this one. They're all are a bit. In fact, I like the uh I sometimes don't understand how to do it in Chrome. This thing, okay, choose this date, because see, I've choose this thing, but it is not coming. I don't even know. Okay, so Chrome is like much more better. So that is there, as if most of you are using Chrome only. So that is there, and we're done with HTML, and we are going to start with like CSS now. So CSS will be taken by my colleague. Okay. So we are going to start with CSS. So yeah.
So, hi all, and a warm welcome to all of you on that special day where we are covering only the entire CSS in a one go. Okay, so 1 second, let me have the setup first. I hope you all know what is CSS, why CSS is used. So, 1 second. Okay, okay. So, 1 second. Index.html. Okay. So the setup is ready. Let us start with today's setup. Okay. So today we are going to cover each and everything in CSS. Each and everything in CSS means the basics of CSS, and will you cover the display float, display block, display flex, display grid. So CSS is all about display properties. So we will be covering each and entire thing in the CSS as well. So the session will be, I guess, around 2.5 hours long, I guess, from here. So we'll end at approximately 6:30. Okay. So anyone have any doubt, they can ask in the comment section. I hope my voice is audible to all of you, and session will go happy. Okay. So by the meantime, 1 second. Okay. So, okay, so these many people are watching here. Okay, okay, okay. Fine. So let us start with CSS. What is CSS? CSS is basically cascaded style sheet. Okay, cascaded style sheet. So the name is somewhat very typical. So let us understand the basic meaning of CSS. And it is used to make the HTML decorative. It basically decorates the HTML elements. Whatsoever elements we are there, we are using in HTML. With the help of CSS, we can make those elements attractive, beautiful, like okay. Now let us start with CSS. So 1 second. Okay. So in how many ways we can add CSS? So there are 3 ways in which we can add CSS. So we'll have CSS here. So first one is inline. Okay. Second one is internal. Third is external. So these are the 3 ways in which we can add CSS. Okay. Now let us go live. Okay, so these are the 3 ways in which we can add CSS: inline, internal, and external. Now, inline means in the same line means directly to the HTML element we apply CSS. So with the help of the style tag, the property, let's pick up background color. Let's say red. So we have applied CSS directly to this HTML element. Okay. Now let us check out the next one. Next one is internal. Internal means internally we apply CSS to this HTML element. HTML file. Okay, this is HTML file and we apply CSS. So again, with the style tag using the H2 with the same property of background color using double F, double zero, double A. Somewhat pink type of color here. And next one is external. External means externally we apply CSS. So externally. For externally, what we do, we create a file, style.css. And in this style.css, what we do, we write our code. But before going that, we'll use a link tag to link both the files. And here in H3, the background color using RGB pattern using the values of let's say 0, 100, 255. Okay, so this is somewhat kind of a blue color. So what we did here, we have checked all the 3 ways in which we can add CSS. First, now here if you see one thing, in all the 3 ways, I have added a common property, background color, and in this common property, what I did, I have given a color. Now in this color section, you see here I have written the name of the color. Second, and here I have written simply the name of the color. Okay. Now second one, if you see what I did here, I have used a hexa hash kind of a thing. I can say hexadecimal kind of a thing. Now in this thing, if you see, I have used a hash, double F, double 0, and double X. So what is this all about? So it says that here that double F stands for red, double 0 stands for green, double A stands for blue. It is in a pattern of RGB, means red, green, and blue. Fine. Now this hexadecimal comes from the hexadecimal number system, from where we have picked up. Okay. Now the next one is the pure RGB pattern. The range of RGB is starts from, let's say, 0 to 255. So we have picked up a 0, a mid value, and the last value. Now let us see email for the codes. Here, see, this is HTML color picker. Just click on any color. You can have the hexadecimal code, RGB code, and the HSL code. Now, what is HSL? HSL again is a kind of format in which you can add colors. So this is H stands for hue. Hue contains the colors. As for saturation, saturation is for the sharpness. L is for the lightness. Okay. So this is all about these things. Now we have the RGB pattern. RGB pattern means here we have the red, green, and blue. So we have the, okay, so we can prepare any color, see, using a combination of red, green, and blue. Now the last is the thing where we can have around 140 color names, which we can simply type it. Okay, which we can simply type it. So this is all about the colors in CSS. Now, after this thing, let us see what are selectors. So here HT is a selector. This thing is a declaration. This is property. This is value. Okay. Now, after this thing, let me have a paragraph, and we'll have a dummy content here. Okay. Now, in this paragraph, if you see one thing, we have taken a lot of dummy contents. Now, let us use some basic font properties here. We will use font size of, let's say, 20 px, and after that font size, we have some font weight of, let's say, bold, and after that font weight we have some text transform to uppercase, text decoration to underline, and again we can have letter spacing, let's say 21 px. Similarly, I can have word spacing, let's say 22 px. Okay. And in the last, we can have a font family property where we can have all this by default fonts. Okay. Now, I have to understand one thing. These are some basic font properties. So we have font size. Font size, you know what is font size. Font weight, you also know what is font weight. Text transform, text decoration, letter spacing, word spacing. Letter spacing, simply spacing between the words, spacing between the words, word spacing, spacing between the words. We have font family. Okay, text decoration to underline means the value is underlined. Text transform means everything is in the capital letters. So this is how it goes like font weight means the thickness of the font, and after that we have the font size. So font size we have 20 px. So these are some basic font properties. Now if you see here, we have took the font family. In this font family, we have by default of 3 fonts. Now in these 3 fonts, if you see here, we have Arial, Helvetica, and Sans serif. Now what is the use of 3 fonts? So here Arial is the primary font, Helvetica and Sans serif are the secondary fonts. And in this primary font, if you see one thing, okay, So if suppose Google Chrome does not support Arial font, so it will automatically pick up the next available font, which is the Helvetica font. So if primary font does not support by the current browser, it will automatically switch to the next available font what we have given. Now, these days, as you know, Google are now into each and every part of life. So Google have their fonts also. So let us check them out. So these are the Google fonts. So many n number of Google fonts are available. So you can pick up. Let us pick up this Laura. And in this Laura, we'll take this one. So here we will import the font. Okay, so the font we have imported, and here we'll use LORA. Now see, and let me make it simple. Okay, so while adding after adding the LoRa font, see how beautifully it looks like. Now after this thing, let me have another pair of, let's say, lorem of 10. Now in this lorem of 10, if you have noticed one thing, so this thing I have also copied. I have also copied the set of styles what we have given to this set of paragraph. So why it is happening? Why this is happening? Why this is happening? Because uh, there is no bifurcation, there is no segregation that why this particular set of styles is for this one. So for this thing, let us use some classes and IDs. So we have class that says top. Here we use ID. ID bottom. So the name of the class what we have picked up is top, and the name of the ID what we have picked up is the bottom. Okay. So here if you see, we will use this class and this IDs. So what are classes and what are IDs? So classes and IDs, basically these are used to target the HTML elements in an extended manner. So we have used this thing. Now here if I use p dot up. Now this particular set of style is only for this particular set of paragraph. And for the second one, what we use, we'll use hash bottom and we'll apply font size of, let's say, 33. Okay. So here now this thing is for second one. So what is currently going on here? What is currently going on here? That we have classes and we have IDs, and here this particular set of styles is for the first one, and this particular is for the second one. Okay. Now let us switch on to the next topic, which is called as the box model. So I'll explain here only. This is the box model property. See, content, padding, border, margin. Okay. Now, after this thing, let us see how we are going to use it. So we have a padding of, let's say, 30p. After padding, we can have a border versus 4p. Let's little bit color, and a margin of let's say 40 px. Okay. So padding 30 px means 30 px, 30 px, 30 px, 30 px. What are 4 px means 4 px, 4 px, 4 px, 4 px. Margin 40 px means 40 px, 40 px, 40 px, 40 px, and 40 px. Okay. So that is how you can see this box model property. Now, after this box model, let us have a set of styles and we will try to style. So we have a div to ul li into one thing. Li li into fix greater than it's not be of just limit li we will have anchor tag. Okay. So let me replicate this thing. Okay, now this, so you can use this thing to make all these red buttons in it. Now uh, we have this thing. So so I will use a hash functionality here and we'll put some, let's say, red. Okay. So if you notice something, we have all these things here. Now let us we have a parent class here. Let's say this. So we have parent class and we have header as next. Now here, try to understand the system. We have a parent div with the classes. We have h2 index, ul contains the li contains the anchor tag. We have put hash functionality. So hash functionality will disable the click function, and with the content of the anchor tag in the name of colors. Fine. Now what we will do, let us pick up each and everything and we will try to style it. So we have this thing as list. Oh, and we have some, let's say, border property. We can have border, let's say 4p, Next, solid blue color. We'll use a border radius property of. Now we can have after this thing, what else we can have? We will pick up something for this U. And after this UL, we can target the anchor tag. And in this anchor tag, we can have some okay. And after that, what else we can use that? Okay, already we have imported the font, so let us take the advantage. Uh, 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 and in the anchor tag, what we can do, we have some something in the bottom of, let's say, mhm. Oh, ho, ho, ho. This one is the bottom. And let me have a padding of, let's say, padding. Let's say, can be X, and we'll have a border bottom, let's say, one be X. Okay. Now we'll target this index. So we have dot H. So we have took the text align center. Okay. So this is a structure, and we have did the styling part of this particular thing. Now, oh, okay. So let us add the some hover properties. So we have anchor tag change in the background color to yellow. See, it is working. Okay. So that is all about the styling of list. Fine. Now after this thing, if you see, we have done the styling of list. Now after the styling of list, let us create a form, and we will be styling that form. Div, label. So this is a structure. Okay. Well, yeah, we'll need to have a parent class. My form Child class will be form GP. Where this label for is not required. So this is the structure, and we are going to replicate this structure for rest of the items also. So what we are going to do, form GP. Okay, so we'll copy paste. The label we have here, name. Type text, age will be numbers, and label input type email. Input type email. Uh, 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 Input type email will be in the form of email. Okay. So this is the structure what we have created. Now what we will do, we will pick up each and everything and we are going to start it. Okay. So for this thing, um, uh, uh, dot my my form is the parent class. So we'll apply a font family property of let's say lava, and we'll have some padding, let's say 30 px, and dot. We'll pick up the next class from GP. From GP, we use some. Okay, and in the form GP, we will target the input display block. Things will come like this. And after this display block, what else we can have? We can add. Okay, so we need to create a button also. Huh? We have input I submit, but here we'll use a class of input type submit, and which is separate class. So here what we are going to use it. Uh, okay. So now based on the one thought, we will do it. Input type what we use some adding of let's say in px, and we apply a border radius property of let's say in px. Okay, and again what else we can have? Uh, 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 so you target this button. Class as send. Okay. Or send margin top, let's say 20p. Ah, again, oh, there some typing error. So we have the values as send and the class as send. Okay. Now No. Let us target this button, the dots and the buttons we have some adding, let's say 30px, increase in size, font size, let's say size, and we can have a color of, let's say blue, and background color white. Increase the contrast to, let's say 30px. Okay, and we'll use uh, 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 transform to uppercase. You can see how beautifully we can do that. And after that, we use some border radius property. Let's say 10px. Okay. Background color we have 5. So let me make it blue. And the font, okay, font. Let me make it background color is okay. Text transform to uppercase. Background color is white. Let me make it blue. And font color, let me make it. So that is how you can see this. We can have properties called as border radius 20px. After applying this thing, this is what the look of the button here. Okay. Now, after this thing, what else we can have? We can have block property, code property. So we have a structure, we'll have a div. This thing will come inside a div. In the header 2, we have header 2. I will use 10. Seems good. And okay, so this is a structure, and we are going to replicate this thing. But 1 minute. So we'll have parent class here. Uh, 4, and we'll use 3. So header 2, header 3, and header 4. Fine. Now we have applied something here. So 1 minute. So how you are going to use a display block? So we have block. So we'll use the float property. So we'll have dot and dot dot block will use float left with the width of, let's say, float left with the width of, let's say, 33.33. Oh, it is not coming. It's okay. This float left and that to where 1 second. Okay. This is the parent div. Ah, 1 second. Let me remove this thing and give it. So we'll have a 1 second dot block. We'll use a h2 𝐻𝐸𝐴 header 2 lorem. Okay, this is a structure. Let us replicate this thing. Dot dot block float left with the width of, let's say, 33.334 right. But okay, 1 minute. Let me see one more thing here. If I comment out this thing, okay. So I can use and I give a different class name. So for block 1, right 50%, and here also we can have 50%. 1 second. Okay, so this is what about the float property. Okay, now after this thing, we will see the next thing here in CSS, which is called as the positioning. Okay, but before applying this, let me have some Padding of let's say 20 px and we'll use a border property of let's say 4p. Next, let me black color. Similarly, I can replicate these things here also. Now, let us do one thing. Let me a property which is called as box sizing to border box. Let's see what this property will do here. So it will align the items side by side. That is the beauty of box sizing border box. Fine. Mm. Now, after this thing, what else we can add here? Okay. Uh, 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 uh. Box sizing border box. Okay. So, let us see positioning. What is positioning in CSS? Okay. So for positioning, let us have a structure. Positioning, I will create a different structure with the help of dot p box. Positioning, and we'll have h1. Okay. So let us understand one thing with the help of positioning. What else we can do? We can move the items as per as our wish towards the left, right, center. Okay. So we have a parent class position box. So what else we can have? Let us copy this p box and we have dot p box. And in this position box, we will create a width of let's say 600p with a height of let's say 500p x with a border of 3p colored with black color. Okay. So here, what with the positioning, what we can have, we can move our items as per our requirement. So in now there will be two scenarios. The first scenario will be this top of the page will be our parent, and the second scenario will be the top of this border will be our parents. Okay. So let us apply the position to absolute, and from the top, I want this to be let's say equal to px down. Let me make it coordinates. And similarly for the bottom, let's say 50px. And from the right, let's say 100px. And here we will take for the left. Okay. Now, what else we can do? We can have a position like this position relative. Now, this position relative. So, relative means we are taking the reference of the new position. Means we are shifting our parent. Means that earlier the whole page, the top of the page will be a parent. Now the top of the border, the box we have created is our parent. So this is all about the positioning. Now after this thing, we have the next thing in positioning, which is called as fixed class FBT. Now with this class dot FBTN, FBTN will use the position to fixed, and with the position we will make it from the top. Let it be 500 px. So it will remain here only, irrespective of the screen size. Okay. Now after this thing, we will have the next thing here, which we can create. We will insert round. So, let me see the image. Okay, part of the image is coming here. So we need to fix it. Background size to power means good, I can say. Okay, now after this thing, we will see the next thing here is the pseudo classes. What are pseudo classes? Pseudo classes are an extended way of targeting the HTML. So we can have a UL and a LI to fix. Okay. Now we have a class here. The pseudo pseudo. And second thing again we can have for pseudo one L. Okay. So now try to understand how we are going to apply the pseudo class. So for the pseudo is in UL. Okay. Will apply for UL dot pseudo UL for child, background color as uh, oh sorry. Okay. Now if I want this for the last child, or I can say for the nth child, let it be 3. Dot pseudo nth oh थॉट नहीं चल रहा है, नहीं चल रहा भाई। Okay, so let us pick up the next thing here, where we can have for, let's say, where we have some hundreds and thousands of rows, and we can have this here. So I want this to be happen for, let's just say, minute child, or, and I can have this thing, the same thing I can have for minute child, even with the help of this thing, you can do this thing also. So let us take a break of a minute. We'll resume at 5 p.m. with CSS. देखो 10 मिनट कर दें, ओके ओके। Okay, so now let us start with Flexbox. So Flexbox, what is Flexbox? Flexbox again is a display property of CSS. But Flexbox is a property which makes the page responsive. Okay. So, okay. So let me have the structure of for Flexbox. So 1 minute, 1 minute. So here I will be using a ready-made structure which is available with me. So this is the structure, and here we'll use open with live server. Uh, 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 Control C. No, what I will do, I will paste the background CSS properties here. And it looks like this. Okay. Now, Flexbox is a flexible box. Okay. Now, there are some rules which we need to follow for Flexbox. The rule number one is flex property will always be applied on the parent class. Okay. So let us start doing it. So Control C and dot Control V, display flex. Okay. Now, as soon as we apply display flex property, what will happen? The entire items, the entire thing which is inside this parent class container will get aligned in a single row. Okay, you see, everything gets aligned in a single row. Now, if so, now let us create a border property, let's say 4P X solid with black color. Okay. Now here, if I apply inline flex, now here, what happened? As soon as we apply inline flex, what happened? The border ends where the item ends, or I can say the item ends where the border ends. Now, here, let us go back with flex, and we'll apply a height property of, let's say, 100 VH. Okay, so it is taking the 100 full width of the string. Now we have a property which is called as the FD, flex direction to row. Flex direction row. Flex direction row. Row means, now there are two type of axis, main axis and cross axis. So main axis starts from left to right. Cross axis starts from top to bottom. Now as soon as we change the flex direction from row to column, what will happen? The main axis will become cross axis, and cross axis will become main axis. So the main axis will be from top to bottom, and the cross axis will be from left to right. Now, here we have got for with the width of, let's say, 100 meters, and here we have a similar kind of a thing. Now, we'll apply a property which is called as flex wrap to wrap. Now, as soon as the available space after item number 8 will be equal to EX, see, the item gets shifted. So this is how this thing will work here. Now, if I change this to 33.3%, what will happen? Nothing will happen. Why? Because now it will stick. It will stick in the same page. Okay. So that is some basic properties of. And here, if I apply a border property of, let's say, 4px, a little bit white, what will happen? See, the border gets created very beautifully with the help of the border property. Fine. Now, after this thing, In the Flexbox, let us see next thing which is called as the alignment and centering. So for the alignment and centering, we use a justify content. So justify will work on row axis. So we have a display of flex. The border property we will have and we apply a JC justify content to X of start. By default, it will be in the start only. Next, we have the flex of end. It will move toward the end. Next property we can have center. Oh, okay. We have center. And after that, we can have the next thing will be of space around. So around item, the space gets created. Next, we can have space evenly. And after that, we have space between. So these are the 7 values for justify content. Now we have the next property which is called as the align content property. Okay, so for this thing, we need to have a little bit changes here. So we'll use as RDBS. Okay, and okay. But before going to align item, what else we can have? We will use the flex direction to. So we have flex direction called to justify content. The code will be display of flex, and we apply the start and start and what is happening? So let me have a minimum address 700 view. Start and enter space around space between and space even. So these are the 7 values for justify content after changing the flex direction from row to column. Now, next thing, what else we can have here? 1 second. We can have the align item property. So what is this align item property? Align is align is the opposite of justify. So we can have here display of flex. So border property we have a flex border property we have, and here we can have a view height, and we will remove this thing. We have align item 2 at and enter and stretch. Okay, so these are the 4 values of align item. But here one thing we want to add here. So we have a property in align item which is called as a baseline property. So for the baseline, let me add. So if I apply align item baseline, so in this align item baseline, what will happen here? That the base of all the items are common. Okay, so that is how it works beautifully in Xbox. After this thing, we will see the next thing here, which is called as the align content. So for the align content, we have the structure, the same structure. And in the align content, what we can do, we will be doing here. We will fix the width to 33.33%. And we'll remove this align item baseline. Okay. So we have the code as second a plain display of flex, a border property, a height property with a fixed width of 33.33 points. Now let us start applying the flex wrap to wrap. Now we will apply the align content property here. We see cut and enter H space around space between and space equally. So again the same set of values what we have seen in the in the uh, in the justified content, the same set of values. Now after this thing we will see the next thing here, which is called as a self property. So here the self property will be applied on a single item where it wants where we want a particular item to move in a different direction. So where I use I terms. No, for the box will have some padding in the 300 p max. Okay. The display text border property height we have taken. Flex wrap property is not required now, and height is also not required. One second. This height is required, and the line item we will use x of start. Fine. Now see what we are going to use. Now we apply this to align help to enter and if I use this as and so we can apply. So this is the align cell property. Now to this align cell property, let me reduce this to and will remove this thing also. We'll have this thing as okay. So what else we are looking for? 1 second. We will use a normal display of okay. Now try to see one thing here. So if I give here dot blocks okay dot box flex of 1. Flex of 1 means the available space will get distributed equally among all the items. Now second thing if I dot box 2 or flex of 2. So this box 2 will utilize twice of the free available space compared to the other items. Now let me make it in part with 2 parts. Now we will see the next thing here in Flexbox, which is called as the Flex Grow, Flex Basis, and Flex Shrink. So here if I give here 1 ml and 0, you can see here means 1 First one is for flex grow, others for shrink, and last is for basic C. So how we are going to use it? So flex basis means the default size of the element before the remaining space is distributed. So for box one, we'll use flex basis of, let's say, 1.tx, and for box two again we use basis 2, and we will give them to, let's say, 400 px. So the default size of an item before the remaining space is distributed. Now, flex grow means how to distribute the available free space between the items. So we can have here flex grow 2 times, and here flex grow 3 times. See, 2 times and 3 times. Now, flex shrink means the ability of an item to shrink in a proportion when less space is available. So flex shrink 1 time, times. Now let us check it out. See, it gets shrink more compared to the first one. Okay, so that is all about the flex box. Now we'll take again a break of 10 minutes. Five. Okay, so before going further, 1 second, I need to share the attendance link. Uh, 1 second. So, Parveen, please tell me without using CSS, how to create a responsive in HTML. This question actually have no answer. Because without CSS, you cannot create a responsive website. Or either you can have Bootstrap. So with the help of Bootstrap, you can create without CSS, you can create only with the help of HTML. You can create a responsive website. Okay. So Bootstrap is also a very good thing. Index with HTML. And we have next as CSS. Okay, the setup is ready. Uh, 1 second, but this time we are going to open in Firefox Developer Edition for something which is only compatible with Firefox Developer Edition. So that is why we are using this particular thing. Okay. So let us see how we are going to use it. For this thing, let me have my set. So grid is again a display property of CSS which is used to make the web page responsive. And there is a limitation of Flexbox. The limitation is that Flexbox works in one direction. One direction means for you to change the direction of the Flexbox, we need to write flex action call. But what happens in grid? It works in both the directions. Okay. So grid actually divides whole of the page into rows and columns. Grid actually divides whole of the page into rows and columns. So let us see how we are going to use it. So, so let us apply the property grid here. So dot container dg display of grid. Now, as soon as I apply display of grid, nothing will happen. Why nothing will happen? Because as I told you, grid divides whole of the page into rows and columns. So we need to declare them. So gtc grid template columns. So let us have and 500p x 2 columns, and we have a row. So gtr grid template rows 200 ps px and 300p. Okay. So this is how we are going to do this. Now, try to understand one thing here. We have declared the rows and columns. So the day 2 attendance, second attendance form I have shared in the live YouTube chat. I request you all to please fill. Okay. No. Okay. So this is now we will add a property. It is called as grid gap of, let's say, 40. After this thing, Now try to understand the structure. The structure have 10 items and we have created the space for only 6 items. Now what about for 7, 8, 9, 9 and 10? Now for this 7, 8, 9 and 10, based on the size of the content inside it, the space is allotted to them. Okay, the space is allotted to them. So for this thing, what we are going to use, so we have a property which is called as the grid auto rows. Let's say, okay. Now this 150 PS will be given to this 7, 8, 9 and 10. Now, if we are going to use the inspect part, try to see one thing here, one thing. See these dash tracks and these dotted tracks. So these dashed tracks are called as the explicit tracks, and these are created because we have created grid template rows and grid template columns, and and these are called as the explicit tracks. And these tracks which you saw here, the dotted tracks are called as the implicit tracks, and these are created because it is created by the grid system internally. Fine. Now after this thing, now after this thing, let us see the next thing here, which is called as the auto flow. Now what will happen if we create any item here? If we create any item here, what will happen? So the item will get created by the, so let us see where it will get placed. If I write grid grid auto flow to, and I scale it. So by default it will get created, but by default it is row only, so it will come below 1. But when I change this to column, it will get created by the side of item number 2. Okay, so this is the beauty of grid auto flow call. Now after this thing, we'll see the next thing in grid, which is called as the sizing of tracks in grid. So for this thing, what we are going to use, let us have a structure. It's purely a grid, CSS grid. Now after this thing, let me have GTC grid template found, let's say in the pattern which will be forcing. Okay. Now we'll have a grid gap of, let's say, 20 feet. Now here, if you see one thing, we have a property where we have defined the spaces between the in the page, which is using the 25% of the available space. So we have 25%, 25% into 4, which is 100% plus 120 px, which is about the 120%, I can say. Now for this thing, what is happening? This last column gets stick towards the end of the page. So for this thing, we have a, so from, in order to get rid from this particular problem, we have a unit which is called as FR. No, one FR. FR is the free space left after the explicit bit. So this is a unit which is called as a FR. Now we have this thing, and we will end it here. Now, how to use it? So if I use one FR and if I use two FR, so the space will be given to this column, one part of the space to this, and one part to this, and one part to this 200 px. 150px, 1fr, and 2fr. So that is how you can read like this. Now, after this thing, we have one something which is called as the auto. Auto means depending on the size of the content, the space will be allotted. Now we have a very wonderful, very powerful thing which is called as a repeat. We have 2 times of, let's say, 150p. Oh, 1 second. See, auto 2 times of 150px, 150px, again 150px, or 1fr and 2fr. So I can have 2 and 2. So, now see, auto repeat 2 times of 150px, 2fr, 150px, 2fr, 150px, 1fr, and 2fr. So that is how you can make it. And all these things are by default responsive. See, automatically it is adjusting themselves. Now, after this thing, we will see next thing, which is called as the, again, the sizing of it we will see here. So for this thing, what we are going to use, we will have a simple 85 times of 1 FR. Okay, and here for this particular item number 9. Okay. So we need to change the structure. And one, no, not required. So I can have here 9. Change the background to white, and this item number. Oh, okay, not a problem. Let it be 8 only. So for item number 8, will increase the width to, let's say, 400p. Now, try to understand one thing. Now we have increased the width of this item number 8 to 400px. But currently, what is happening? It is actually disturbing the entire set of structure. So for this thing, we have a solution which is called as a span. So we will use grid column to a up to, means twice of the space has been utilized by them, and the structure gets undisturbed. So that is being very, and we have something which we can implement this in rows. So GR, which is span of 2. So we can have this thing in row also. So twice of the row space we have used, in twice of the column space we have. Now, if I want this to start from, so grid column start from, let's say, 2 and at 5. Start at 2 and at 5, and grid row we will have start at 1 and at 7. Okay, so that is very easily we can create with the help of. So that is what is called as responsive, the king of responsive grid. So you see, automatically based on the screen size, it is adjusting themselves. Now after this thing, we can see the next thing in grid, which is called as the autofill and autofit. So what is autofill and what is autofit? So autofill means it tries to fit as many as possible items in the same row without moving on to the next row. So for this thing, we will use a repeat. Autofill with Now see, and we will add a it is trying to fit as many as possible items in the same row without moving on to the next row. So that is the auto fill property. Now auto fit is almost very similar to auto fill, but for the auto fit property, what we need to use, we will reduce this till 4, and here we'll use ITEM 4, and third column n2 -1. Now see here, this with the help of this auto fit, very beautifully you can create this this menu items here. So that is again a very important thing which will help you to create this particular kind of. After this thing, we will see next thing which is called as a legendary masonry layout. So for legendary masonry layout, 1 second. Structure will be like this. Okay. So what is the advantage of legendary masonry layout? So for this thing, so this layout, GTC, repeat, can kind of uh, very beautifully you created these columns. And here, let me add some irregularities here. So when I applied the grid auto flow with the help of this legendary masonry layout, the items rearrange themselves in a very beautiful manner without wasting the available space. So that is how you can make the best of the things with the help of legendary masonry layout. But one thing to be noted here is that the sequence is not guaranteed. So if you read with me, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is below 1, 2, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 is here. So where you do not need to maintain the sequence, you can use this particular thing. Now after this thing, we will see the justify content and align content property, which is called as the alignment and center. So for this thing, second, structure will be like that. And we have a display of a grid gap of 20 px, grid template column with repeat 10 times of an effort. Okay. Now let us start with justify items. So we have I justify items with the value as start. But for this thing, and mm, next is and enter. After justify, we have the next thing which is called as the align item. The same set of values we have for align item. Let us have for this thing as AI align item to that. But for align item, we need to create row. So GTR, it again, repeat 5 times of 100 px. Now see the vertical movement. And enter start and center and step. Again, the same set of values. Now after that, we have the next thing which is called as the justify content. To justify content, we will be using as JC and 1 second we will be using and start and enter edge space around space between space evenly. So the same set of values for the justify content. Similarly, we can have the align content also, but for the align content, we will disable the row functionality. So we can have a height also. Let us. So we have AC start and enter is around space evenly is between and stretch. So again, the same set of values for the justified content. So here comes to an end of our session. So thank you. Thanks a lot. I hope everybody have filled attendance form. Thank you.